Okay, hello, we're going to solder up the swamp buggy circuit today, so if you focus in, I'll be as quick as I can with this. You will notice what I've already done is I have cut the little black connection from the battery box here, about 3 centimetres, well exactly 3 centimetres from the box, and then I've used the wire strippers to strip that end and also to strip that in there. So I've got my bit of wire. I'm going to need that later, so bear with us, okay? Now to make it easier, I'm going to place battery box is very slightly broken here, which is a real fiddle. Okay, your little fingers might find this slightly easier than mine. If you had a magnetic screwdriver, it would be a lot easier. We need to try and screw the screw into the battery box, and it's really not behaving here. Okay, and then we place that down, and you screw it into one of the holes that you did. You remember the holes that you've already drilled into your plywood. Okay, so there we go. We're screwing it, and push down hard when you screw these things in. It's got to really push down as you turn it. The battery box is slightly broken here that I'm using, if it looks strange to you, but there we go. That's fixed. Now. We need to solder the switch. Now this is very, very important, this. Okay, you've got sheets to help you, but watch this. That little connection there and that little connection there are what you want. This slide switch, right, will connect those two, or it'll connect those two. So what we need to do is twist the wires here, twist them as best as you can, because that will get them through the holes more easily. Okay, there we go, that's gone through nicely, and then I'm going to solder that in position. Okay, really it needs to be here, that's where it's going to end up. If you've got a good partner, that's going to really help you. Now remember what we said about soldering. You tin the soldering iron and you place the soldering iron on the connection you want to make and push some solder in. Keep pushing the solder until it melts. There, that's connected beautifully. Right, we then need to make sure that, what do we need to do next? We need to make sure that we've got our connection from the motor to the switch here. So we connect that in there, bend it around the connection like so on the motor, and solder that in position. That's going to be long enough? Yeah, just about. Okay, I'm going to solder that one. Okay, you might not be able to see there. Just again pressing some solder, pushing about a good centimetres worth of solder into there, because that's quite a big connection that's made. Okay, and you can see that I've clearly got this one slightly too long here. I don't need this sort of length here. So what I need to do is nip that off. Okay, boop, about there, another sort of 3 centimetres or so. So what's going to happen is you can see how this is going to complete our circuit now. All right. Okay, so we need to strip this little wire with our wire strippers that sometimes don't work. There we are. They're working and behaving today. So we get the other part of the motor connected like so through there. We sort of thread these wires through there, bend them over like that, and when they bend over, they're much easier to sort of solder that way. Again, tin the soldering iron and place it in there. See the solder spread beautifully there. That was a nice joint. Okay, that's done, and when that's solidified, we should be able to place it in the little motor clip here if you've got one already in place. Okay, but of course the electricity is going through the battery, now it's going through the motor, and we've got to make it actually go back through the switch here, because otherwise it doesn't make a complete circuit. And we'll test it in a minute. I'm going to place there. Now this is the bit that people find confusing and difficult, the switch. Please look at that carefully. Alright, I've soldered a middle one and one end one. That's all I've done. Okay, you've got sheets to help you with this, but still people struggle with the concept of where stuff goes on these circuits. Okay. Right, we've got that connected, and I'm pretty confident that's going to work if I put a battery in. We'll see if it does. Place my battery in, like so. Ooh, that's not being too easy. My screw's in the way, so I'm going to screw that down even harder, like so. And then I should have a complete circuit if I switch on. Perhaps you can hear that. Definitely working. And of course, later on, when you've been in the workshop and drilled your hole on one of those, you'll be able to make it like that, which is definitely working. Okay, thank you very much for your time, and let's crack on with some work. We'll glue this switch in later, by the way, just here. We're going to glue that with hot glue gun, and possibly stick these wires down a bit somehow, possibly by twisting the motor. Okay, off we go.